How's it going, guys?
I was walking along the side of the road.
Well, I mean, I've always loved the festival scene, and I've gone for years even without playing. But as far as being a band on the festival scene, it's very cool. You know, you get to meet a lot of people, and you get treated really well.
Really well.
Mountain Jam treats everybody really great. We've had a fantastic weekend. Production was a great bunch of guys running sound, running the stage. Right off the bat, they were great. And parked right behind us is the video crew that's doing filming for the podcast and the screens at the stage. And we got friendly with them, and they took us on a little tour of the production facilities, which was amazing, and just a lot more intense than most people would imagine inside. When you're outside looking at the stage and you're looking at the screens, you kind of just look up and go, you know, I kept being drawn to the screens, how cool, you know, they had a couple cranes going and handhelds, and I kept finding myself looking at the screen going, wow, this is amazing. And we went into the facility and see all the guys working, controlling the camera angles and who was doing what, and the amount of people that were running the podcast, we were like, wow, this is what's going on. This is why this looks so good, you know?
And one guy is telling the cameras what to do, and he's nonstop.
Yeah.
It's intense. I can't imagine
it's a whole
doing
show
more than
in
an
itself.
hour at a time.
We started out by just having a jam session.
Who's we?
It was Linda and I, of course, Troy Bleck, who I've been playing in bands with for a long time. We had a friend who was playing bass, who our original bass player. Had a friend playing pedal steel, and we wanted to do like a Flying Burrito Brothers, Graham Parsons kind of thing, and just have some fun with it. And it was really just to jam out actually some Graham Parsons songs and some truck driving songs. And I played with Troy in several bands, and I said, well, Troy would love to do something like that. And the pedal steel player came over, and we sort of just had a jam session in the basement. And when we were done, we said, maybe we should do something with this. And so it sort of just developed very naturally from there. And Troy came up with the name of the band because, you know, we love the whole idea of the 70s and the culture of the 70s. And we were playing trucking songs for, you know, just fun, jamming them out there. They're easy to put together quick. So he said, CB radio, you know, that would be something that would represent all the aspects of what we were trying to do. And it was stuck.
Mine, I would say, are, you know, I grew up on old bluegrass music and old country music. So I'd say any of the, you know, powerful female singers back in time, like Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn. And I really, in bluegrass, Ralph Stanley was my major favorite singer. So any singer that really puts a whole lot of heart into their songs, it's got to have guts, it's got to have heart.
Jay?
I've had many over the years during different time periods of my life. Certainly Graham Parsons would be a huge influence on me when I started really getting into, retro country. Waylon Jennings was my guy. Rock and roll. I liked the band Free, which was Paul Rodgers' first band. And there's a whole bunch more. You know, I did eventually, through Linda, get really heavy duty into bluegrass and into the Stanley Brothers and guys like Red Allen. The more recent, this Tedeschi Trucks band is just fantastic. I love what they're doing. Tedeschi Trucks, there's not a lot of physical movement, but there's a lot of energy bouncing around. Everybody's throwing this energy around stage, and it just builds, and then comes back down, and builds, and comes back down. You know, it's like a wave on the ocean. You know, it just sweeps into the shore, pulls back, and keeps coming back to the shore. Very, very groovy thing, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, syncopation too. And just watching those two drummers work together and smile at each other when they're playing, it's just so neat to watch.
For being such a fantastic band, and especially, you know, Derek and Susan being so fabulous, you know, there's no egos is what I love, you know. They bring the backup singers out to sing because they're fantastic singers, and they trade guitars, and, you know, they can very easily highlight themselves, and they tend to highlight the entire band. And I love that.
Emmylou. I would say Tammy and Waylon and Willie and all the outlaws from the 70s.
Well, after tonight, the Tedeschi Trucks would probably have to but lately, I would say Gillian Welch and David Rawlings. And Dave Rawlings' Machine would be a band I would love to have on my festival. You know, Willie Watson is playing with them now, and it's incredible.
Iris DeMent.
Iris DeMent, we just saw Iris DeMent, and she would be a great performer for a daytime kind of thing. Or maybe a second stage, you know, maybe a songwriter stage, you know. One of my favorite places in the world, but specifically in America, is Bryce Canyon, Utah. We looped the whole country, so we went through the Badlands, shot some stuff there, and down to Joshua Tree, which that was my first time at Joshua Tree. I've been out to California and always wanted to go, and specifically because of Grant Parsons, that's where we used to hang out. But that was my first time at Joshua Tree, loved it. And then we came back up and went through the canyons. Zion is beautiful too. And then we did a really interesting thing. We went down through Arizona, but we didn't go to Grand Canyon. We went to Canyon de Chelly, which is the Indian Canyon. It's a smaller canyon, but it's like a lot of energy. You feel more energy than you would at the Grand Canyon. And when we went, we were by ourselves, and we were standing over a canyon, and there was actually an Indian playing a flute in the bottom of the canyon.
As we looked over the cliff, it was fabulous. Well, I got an opportunity to play with Ralph Stanley one time, and I thought I wasn't ready for it, so I was a little too shy to do it. So all through life, you think that you have plenty of time to catch up on things, to do things tomorrow that you should do today, because the opportunities pass. So yeah, I probably kick myself all the time for things that I didn't take advantage of. But life has been good. I do take advantage of things as they go by.
For me, when I was young, I wrote a lot of poetry. As soon as I was writing music, you know, songs when I was very young, 5, 6 years old. But I was also writing poetry. And I was actually, in my teenage years, I wrote a lot more poetry, and I had books and books, and I had graduated high school. I had filtered them all down to fit into a backpack. I write in really small, at least the ones I wanted to take with me. And I was going to hitchhike across the country and hitchhike out to California with my poetry, write more poetry, see what happened.
Sounds very Jack Kerouac.
Yeah, I was a big Jack Kerouac. I was very much into the beats when I was a teenager. And I actually had saved up $2,000, which at the time was a lot for me. And when I was going to leave, one of my friends had a problem, and sort of serious issue, and I stayed for them, and I ended up never going. It just rolled into not going. And I always look back and think, you know, I wish I'd gone. But then you look back and say, who knows what would happen from there? You know, who knows all the things that I did do now? Maybe I wouldn't have done them. So I don't really look back and regret too much. sure you drink water. Cools you down, keeps you hydrated. You're out in the hot sun, you don't realize a lot of times that you are thirsty and you are dehydrated, so you must drink your water.
Citizens Band Radio supports
Water.